The parking lot was quiet. People were walking to their cars. A man lifted groceries into his trunk. A mother held her child's hand. It felt like a normal day. Then a loud crack cut through the air. A man fell to the ground. No one saw where it came from. No one saw who did it. People screamed. Cars sped away. Sirens filled the air. News cameras arrived fast. And that was the moment America realized something was very wrong. Someone was hunting people in public places. And no one knew who. As police rushed in and the crowd scattered, one question hung in the air like smoke. Where would the next shot come from? Weeks earlier, everything had felt normal. Schools opened on time. Parents went to work. Kids played outside. Gas stations were busy. People stopped for coffee without fear. Then the first attack happened. It seemed random. A man was shot while doing everyday things. Police thought it was a single crime. A bad moment. A one-time event. They were wrong. Soon another shooting happened. Then another. Each one was sudden. Each one happened in a public place. Parking lots. Sidewalks. Stores. People doing nothing wrong. Each time, the shooter vanished. No witnesses. No clear trail. Just fear. News stations broke into regular shows. Headlines changed. Maps filled with red dots. People stopped feeling safe. Parents walked children to school and waited until they were inside. People pumped gas while crouching low. Stores closed early. Life slowed down. Fear moved faster. Police worked around the clock. Local officers teamed up with state police. Then federal agents joined. Hundreds of tips came in every day. Most led nowhere. Some made things worse. The shooter seemed to know how to disappear. The extreme moment that shook the nation came next. A child was struck. The news spread instantly. Parents held their kids closer. Schools cancelled outdoor activities. Playgrounds went quiet. America was no longer just scared. It was heartbroken. The shooter sent messages. Short. Cold. Taunting. The words made it clear. This was not random. This was planned. Careful. Cruel. And whoever was doing this wanted attention. Police now believed it was more than one person. A team. Working together. Watching. Waiting. Moving when no one expected it. The thought made fear grow even deeper. Behind the scenes, investigators worked non-stop. They studied patterns. Times. Places. Distances. They searched for links. Anything that could help. But the attacks did not follow clear rules. That made them harder to stop. People changed how they lived. Some stopped going out unless they had to. Others traveled in groups. Churches cancelled events. Sports games were delayed. A simple trip to the store felt dangerous. Every sound made people jump. The low moments were quiet ones. When nothing happened. When people waited. Not knowing. Those moments felt longer than the loud ones. Fear grows best in silence. Then came another extreme event. Another public place. Another sudden attack. Another life lost. Police arrived within minutes. Helicopters circled. Officers searched nearby woods. Nothing. Again. The shooters were gone. That night, the nation held its breath. Phones buzzed with alerts. Television anchors spoke in serious tones. Experts tried to explain. But no one could say when it would end. Or how. And somewhere out there, two men were watching the panic they caused. Listening to the news. Seeing the fear. Planning their next move. As the sun rose over a shaken country, one truth was clear. This was no longer just a crime. It was a nightmare spreading across America. And it was far from over. The fear spread fast. By now, everyone knew the name. The D.C. snipers. People did not know who they were, but they knew what they could do. They could strike anywhere. And they did. Police put snipers on rooftops. Officers hid in parking lots. Patrol cars filled the streets. But the attacks continued. Each one felt closer. Each one felt more personal. People looked at each other with worry. No one felt safe anymore. The shooters seemed to appear out of nowhere. A loud crack. A person down. Then silence. By the time police arrived, the shooters were gone. No running footsteps. No speeding car. Just shock. Investigators worked day and night. They studied maps. They marked every location. They searched for patterns. Distance. Timing. Weather. Traffic. Anything. Slowly, something strange appeared. The shots were coming from far away. From hidden places. From spots that gave a clear view. It was not luck. It was skill. The shooters began sending messages. They wrote notes. Left clues. They wanted attention. They wanted power. They wanted control. One message demanded money. Another mocked police. The tone was cold. It scared investigators. Because it showed planning. And patience. Schools changed rules. Kids stayed inside during recess. Teachers walked children in groups. Parents cried quietly while watching the news. Some children asked hard questions. Why is this happening? Adults did not know what to say. Gas stations became places of fear. People zigzagged while pumping gas. They ducked behind cars. Some drivers refused to stop at all. They drove until their tanks were almost empty. Every loud sound made hearts race. The low point came when police chased the wrong lead. They focused on a white van. News spread fast. People called it the sniper van. Police stopped vans everywhere. Drivers were pulled over. Some were scared. Some were angry. But the real shooters were not in a white van. They were watching the confusion. And learning from it. The high moment of hope came when a witness saw something different. Not a van. A dark car. Parked far away. Still. Too still. Police began looking at cars instead. Old ones. Quiet ones. Vehicles that blended in. Another message arrived. This one mentioned a location. Police rushed to protect it. They filled the area with officers. Nothing happened. It was a trick. A test. The shooters were playing a game. And they were winning. Then came another extreme event. A shooting happened far from Washington. In Alabama. The nation froze. This meant the threat was bigger than anyone thought. The shooters could move. They could travel. They could strike anywhere. Now the case was national. Federal agents took control. Every detail mattered. Phone records. License plates. Fingerprints. Even small tips were checked again. Investigators refused to give up. And finally, a real break came. A car was spotted. A dark blue sedan. It appeared near one attack. Then another. Witness reports matched. Police shared the information quietly. No public announcement. No panic. This time, they moved carefully. The shooters were still free. But the walls were closing in. They did not know it yet. But the game was about to change. And the next move would decide everything. The night was calm. Too calm. Police across the region were on alert. They watched highways. Rest stops. Parking lots. Every officer knew the description now. A dark blue sedan. Old. Quiet. Easy to miss. Inside the car were two men. John Muhammad. And Lee Boyd Malvo. They listened to the radio. They heard the fear they had caused. They believed they were still invisible. But they were wrong. Investigators had changed their plan. No loud warnings. No press announcements. They shared details quietly. They watched. They waited. They followed tips slowly and carefully. They knew one mistake could cost lives. The low moment came late at night. Hours passed with no sign. Officers grew tired. Eyes burned. Coffee cups piled up. Hope felt thin. Then a call came in. A truck driver had seen a dark blue sedan parked strangely at a rest area. The car matched the description. Police moved fast. But calm. Very calm. Officers surrounded the area quietly. No sirens. No shouting. They crept closer. The sedan sat still. Windows dark. No movement. This was the moment everything balanced on. The extreme moment came in seconds. An officer opened the door. 2 men were asleep inside. A rifle lay in the car. Police pulled them out. Hands up. No shots fired. No chase. Just silence. The D.C. snipers were in custody. The news spread instantly. Phones buzzed. Television screens lit up. America finally exhaled. Parents hugged children. Schools reopened playgrounds. Gas stations filled again. Life slowly began to move forward. Investigators searched the car. They found the weapon. Notes. Maps. Messages. Everything matched. The fear had a source. The nightmare had faces. During questioning, the truth came out. John Mohammed was the leader. He planned the attacks. He trained Malvo. He controlled him. Malvo was young, confused, pulled into something dark and dangerous. But both were responsible. The law would decide how. The trials were long, painful. Families listened to details they never wanted to hear. Names were read. Lives remembered. Justice moved slowly. But it moved. John Mohammed was found guilty. He faced the highest punishment. Lee Boyd Malvo was sentenced to spend his life in prison. The system made its choice. The D.C. sniper attacks changed America. Police learned new lessons. How to share information. How to avoid panic. How to hunt a threat that hides in plain sight. The extreme fear faded. But the memory did not. People still remember that time. How silence felt dangerous. How everyday places felt unsafe. How a whole nation paused. This story is not about the killers. It is about the people who lived through it. The families. The communities. The strength to move forward. 2 men paralyzed a nation. But they did not break it. Because in the end, America stood together. And the nightmare ended.